Is it the best view of any toilet in the?
It is the best view of any toilet I've ever seen. Looking out on the munitions storage bunkers, yeah. Quite nice.
I'll show you. This is some of our poop. Ready? With some soil mixed in because I was excavating it, but this is basically shit that's a couple years old with, you know, some of the soil that got kicked into it, but
this was a way to help CLUI inhabit South Base, which they've been thinking about, and so we got a grant and decided to rehab the Quonset hut and make it sort of, you know, adhering to some ideals of sustainability or kind of a closed system, ghetto biosphere or something, just, but then not to be inflexible, but basically try to we bring in the water, we put in the solar power, so sort of use alternative energy or soft technology, because we've always known about it, and I don't know anybody who uses it. We just decided to treat this like a proving ground, you know, and use the facility in a way that was counter to it, the way it was used historically as a place for like testing weapons and training and weapons testing. And I think that assembly hall here was the Enola Gay assembly hall, is that right?
Yeah, the hangar.
Yeah, I mean this hall is
really?
just kind of like away. This was the more secret part of the base, and so, but it was just sort of abandoned. So, but CLUI had been renting it for years and not really doing anything. So first thing we had to do was rehab this, and then we put in the solar power, and then we put in the water, and then the latrine or the toilet facility came way too late somehow. But now everything's, Nancy's here, and she could sort of tell you about that more directly, like the waste redo, and then I could talk about the water.
so anyway, yeah. Right underneath this layer of straw is a human waste from like 2000, some from 2003 on. The rest of it is in that bed that I made along the Quonset. So every day I would ride in at 10 o'clock in the morning and then at 6 o'clock and collect waste from people I convinced to save it for me. So I was in the back of kitchens in the casinos and pulling waste from them. So this is, it was a lot. There was 140 gallons of food waste that went into this, and then there's some horses right off by Mildred's. This is just, I don't know, this is to end the pile. But we went to, I went to that place to get some really dehydrated horse chips, which by the way are great fuel. Like we burned a bunch of it. It was like really nice smelling, and then it also burned really long time. It's like good cooking fuels right over there too. Anyways, I made this big sandwich, and I'll be back in December because I'm actually teaching in LA for a quarter at UCLA, so I'm going to be coming through, and then I'm just going to move it, and that'll be the only time I turn it. So it's a very, very hot pile combination of wet waste and dry things. I've got one layer's tumbleweeds, you know, chopped up. So anyway, we built this to be a 2-bin system, and all these boards, we have made holes for them to slide out so we can unload them from the front. But this is also a board that be able to pull up to move it over there. We have it oriented this way because the winds come in this way. We don't want things blowing all over the place. So since we're not able to do any major earthworks here because this is all historical, I wanted to do some swales and try to direct some of that water. I decided I pickaxed this entire area up, and it has, trying to create a spongy layer. It's very, very soft if you grab into it, and it's poop, because we had a lot of it, and mixed with indigenous soil, mixed with other things that are going to be composted down, some hay and a bunch of grass clippings. You can see here where you can go up into the toilet when you want to. we can't all fit in here. This is where our poop's being collected right here. And they were using peat moss as a dry scoop. And I was like, no. So we're using sawdust instead. Just don't use peat moss from the swamps. So we're using sawdust right now, and the sawdust has already been through the horse stable, so it has some horse shit in it. It's the urinal, and that's the one that's connected to the toilet. Mostly women's pee, men's pee. They both smelled bad when we poured them out on the concrete or on the cardboard. But anyway, that's our toilet. We can climb around inside.
With Simparch, it's kind of just like experimenting with cheap materials and doing alternative building experiments. And this is sort of an ideal place to try to inhabit, just conceptually and physically. It's kind of nice, like location-wise. You know, you can see the casinos and hear the airplanes, and you never know what's going to happen. Got shooters over there, or there's some shooters over there today too. And then the solar system is 500 or 600 watt, and these six panels are charging 16 batteries inside, and this is just this panel here charges 2 batteries for the refrigerator, and it's been good since 2003. I mean, the batteries are the dirty part, the lead acid batteries, like golf cart batteries, and they're supposed to wear out after 5 years or so, but they're still going okay. The dome, some students came up with this idea to attach the dome, and so it'll be this sort of outdoor space, you know, kind of shaded. Robert Foster, who I know from when I lived in New Mexico, he worked at New Mexico State, and I was part of the El Paso Solar Association for a time when I first moved there, and so I found out about these because they developed a way to make kits for people to use in that area. There's a lot of not just across the border in Juarez, but I mean even on the El Paso side, there's lots of like informal communities, and so lots of problems with brackish water and arsenic in the water, and you know, health problems, and they were trying to make this cheap alternative for people to purify water. And so you can take brackish water, and it'll I don't know, the interior of the basin will get to be about 180 degrees, so it's sort of killing bacteria. It vents off hydrocarbons, and University of Texas El Paso has done testing on it and tried lots of different types of water, and things have all come out cleaner than the municipality water. And so all the drains, there's a drain in the kitchen sink, and then the shower water comes directly down from the main tank, and then this outside sink drained into there, and then it'll be where the pump will have a float, so it'll just pump up, you know, whenever it gets to a certain level, it'll pump it up to the white barrel, which will be distributed to the garden areas Nancy's setting up. So it's just going through a sand filter, sand and gravel, and I don't know, it takes out the gooey things and, you know, some yucky stuff. So this design
exactly
is
what he wants to do.
We didn't know how to like finish it, but Matt, who just left, he made those sort of partitions, like the workspace, which is real nice. Just kind of didn't know. There's no real like private space.
There's no private space.
There's no changing room, but we manage. Maybe in the future there'll be something.